What's up, B.N.H family? Today we'll be reacting to Oak Park back in 1968, 1969, and this area, this neighborhood is the home of rappers like Mozzie, Stunner Girl, the mayor, and basketball player Kevin Johnson. So yeah, they got a lot of legends that came about here. So let's take a trip down memory lane and see how it was back in the '60s. Let's go. 68, 69, Oak Park.
The past 2 nights of vandalism in Oak Park has touched everyone in the community. These children are playing in a park donated by a man who lives 50 miles away. The Oak Park Neighborhood Council and other civic groups in the area are working to provide programs aimed at the youth of all ages in Oak Park. On the surface, for the past few nights, Oak Park has been the scene of shattered glass and helmeted police carrying nightsticks. Religious and community leaders feel there is something going on behind the scenes that will eventually unite
That shit
Oak Park.
crazy how all the
For the
kids
past
just
2
playing
nights,
outside.
groups of adults and
You don't
teenagers
see that type of stuff
have
no
walked
more.
the streets,
like all the
urging
kids are inside
restraint
playing video
among
games.
young people
Ain't nobody
as
interacting
well as
no more.
police. This is Vic Biondi, KCRA News, reporting from Oak Park.
I'd like to say that we invite Negro children, any other ethnic organization, not organization, but ethnic grouping of children to our school. But for the love of God, leave my kids in that school. I don't want to see them drugged down the street in a bus every morning, clear across town.
You see that? Like, it's like, I truly think black people was fighting for that, like integration. I think we was fighting for the wrong things back then. Like, I truly believe it was like too early. It's just like when you're like, say you're in a relationship, a man and a woman, and the woman been getting, she was getting beat her whole life. I mean, she was getting beat throughout the whole relationship. And then all of a sudden she got the heart to just leave him, and move on. And then all of a sudden, this man,
your 5 minutes is up.
2 years later,
I'm
this
sorry.
man come back in her life and start terminating, and then she comes back to him. You know what I'm saying? And it's just too soon.
We will not support the board on any tax increase to be wasted on busing. We call the board's attention to new compensatory state legislation which purports to solve the problems of minority groups. Let's give these new efforts a chance to work. The simplest solution to the problem of de facto segregation in the elementary schools, which is presented here tonight, would be to eliminate the boundaries of all elementary schools in the Sacramento Unified School District.
I know many friends of mine who do not have mixed friends. They do not have white friends. And in these groups, they have stereotyped concepts of what white people really are. They don't look at white people as people. They look at them as stereotyped images. And then I have white friends too who do not mix with Negroes. And these people, they don't have clear images of what a Negro is. They have stereotyped images of what.
That's facts. I mean, it's a lot of stereotypes. Like if you never met nobody, the only thing you got to go off is what you see on TV. You know what I'm saying, or what you read in the paper, music or whatever. So it's it's a lot of judging, a lot of stereotypes, a lot of miseducation, misinformed people. A lot of people just don't want to know. You know what I'm saying?
Of Negroes.
Let's get into it.
And as a result, there's no communication between the two groups.
Facts.
Well, it has a bigger cafeteria and
I make more friends than I did over at the other school.
Are you making a lot of new friends at the school?
Yes, sir.
You're happy about the overall shift from your old school to this school? How about the busing here? Is that any problem to you, being bused so far from your home?
No, sir. Well, my father doesn't like it, but I do.
I like this one better.
Why do you say that? What's better about it?
Well, the kids are nicer and the teachers are a little nicer too.
Gerald, how do you like this new school compared with your old school?
I like this one, but I hate the other one.
Why? Why do you say that?
'Cause I don't like the kids on there.
Like the
That little nigga look hella bad. He look like somebody I seen in a movie. Yeah, the Eddie Murphy Raw. In the beginning, you remember in the beginning of the movie when he was like, and I kicked him in the ding or some shit. But that was
It's better
this
here,
is
huh?
too long, so it can't be him. But he looked just like that kid.
I like it very much.
You like this one better? What is it about this school that you like better?
The children and things.
Oh, damn.
The children easier to make friends with? You made a lot of new friends?
Yes.
It looked like they making her say
The
that
main
shit.
concern to us in law enforcement is that this is directed towards the use of preschool and grammar.
Well, you know what you're saying. Yeah, but what you're saying, though, you see, is
before you go over, you want to still and I want you to see that there ain't no bullet holes at all. Now, if rifle fire had came out of that building there, that door, there should be holes somewhere over here.
unless they're using blanks.
If a bullet had came through that door, one of the policemen would have been dead because Panthers shoot better than that. And at that close range, they were standing right there on the sidewalk. If we had been shooting at those cats, one of them would have been dead. With a rifle?
He said one policeman been dead. The Panthers shoot better than that. Hey, that's crazy though. That's crazy because during that time, the police was just it was like a hit out on all the Panther organizations. They was, they took out the Fred Hampton, all across America. They were just hitting them all the Panther headquarters. You know what I'm saying? So they did the same thing right here in Oak Park.
That's right. I stood to the door and I asked the cop to let me take the sister to the hospital. And the dog said he didn't want nobody to come out the building. And when I turned around to walk back in there, to tell everybody to close the refrigerator and all the food, we just had to throw out because they threw it on the ground. And most of it was eggs and things like that we had to clean up.
I want you to see this.
Mr. Mayor, can you give me some reaction to what you've seen here right now?
Well, I can only tell you I think I'm a little shocked and horrified
At what, sir?
at the condition of these quarters.
And what are your plans right now?
Well, I don't have any specific plans. We've just completed a meeting. We are now examining what has happened and seeing with our own eyes the shambles that was created here. And I am certain that the council, in its next regularly scheduled meeting, or perhaps even a special meeting, will get further into these matters and in this sense hopefully come up with some what are called in today's world meaningful solutions. We can't continue this. It must not happen. It just must not happen.
It's going to show the people that they're doing something that they have never done before, rather than sit around and listen to other rhetoric, other people saying that what has happened, and they take a stand on what has happened from.
Are you satisfied that this is what you say concern?
No, I'm not satisfied. Just because they see it don't mean they're going to work on it.
Hell no. Damn, they tore that place up. They was just. Got the man right there, the founder, Huey Newton.
35th Street, Oak Park, once a bustling shopping center, now a burned-out shell, symbol of a ghetto. I'm Ginger Rutland, KCRA News, and I'll be taking a fresh look at Oak Park, my old neighborhood.
That shit look.
11-915,
That's crazy. Oak Park.
915.
They gentrifying that shit now. It don't look nothing like that no more.
And they're dopers. And they sell them dope right here on this.
What happened to Oak Park? You were here when it happened, and I'd like an explanation.
Well, I'm part of the influx of blacks from the West End during the when 3rd Street was and the West End was redeveloped, and I feel that because of the designated efforts from the Real Estate Association in those years, this was part of what I call the beginning of the destruction of Oak Park. And I feel that whatever has happened to Oak Park, that was the seed planted. And
what exactly did they do? They designated.
Well, when people were being replaced in the around 2nd, 3rd, in the West End, I was on across the street from our Crocker's Art Gallery. When we came to Sacramento in 1942, when they started designating where people were going to go in order to have them get out of the way, they designated blacks to Oak Park. And of course, if you look for a house, you were told that there was no place they could put you except Oak Park. So quite a number of us were geared toward Oak Park because we wanted a decent place to live. Oak Park was a beautiful place at that time, and people were moved in here overnight.
That's crazy how, back then they was forcing everybody to live in Oak Park. I mean, well, all the black people live in Oak Park, but now they trying to force everybody out with this gentrification and raising the property values and all that shit. I'm telling you, black people really need to wake up because they just pushing us around like they basically just bullying us. Like, oh, okay, now you know what? No, y'all can have it. We don't want to. Okay, we want the neighborhood now. Y'all motherfuckers got to go. They just keep pushing us further and further, further. You know what I'm saying? Now we all in Elk Grove. First they pushed us, to the south side. Now we getting pushed to Elk Grove. So pretty soon we gonna be completely. It's the same thing happening in L.A. Like you go to L.A., it's like hardly. It's just Mexicans. It's just all Mexicans. You don't really see hardly any. There ain't too many black people out there no more. It's crazy. They just gentrifying everything.
There was an effort to block bust. This really happened because I worked out here in the early years of Sacramento. I worked on 12th Avenue, 11th Avenue, 33rd. I caught the trolley out here. I brought my baby to Well Baby Clinics, which is at McGeorge's Law School now. And this is how the wholesale destruction of Oak Park started. And once the blacks started coming in here, I believe Roy Taylor was on the corner 33rd and 6th Avenue. Beautiful store there. Even Roy Taylor was frightened and moved out of here wholesale once the blacks, and he's on Stockton, he's on Freeport Boulevard now.
What happened to the white people? When the blacks moved in, what happened to the white people?
There were efforts, and I think this can be substantiated.
White flight.
To put it bluntly, Ginger. Well, there were quite a few old Italian families and all out here, and the niggers are coming, so you better get before you would fumigate and sterilize a house before you'd have a family move out. But I actually saw people move in this area overnight during that time. And with all this fear, the blacks, the whites moved out. People who had beautiful backyards with roses, who had fruits. They had built those, planted the yards and gardens for a lifetime, and they were frightened and they sold the property and they got out of here. And consequently, blacks also have the same middle class concept. When the whites started moving out, quite a few of the blacks decided, we're going to have all the people from 2nd and 3rd. Blacks don't all associate together either. And when you get all these people off the streets and everything, well, I'm going to get out.
Facts. Facts.
What part does redlining play in the decline of Oak Park?
I think one of the major things that have occurred since redlining started is that some of your mortgage companies and local banks won't loan money into this community so that people can, in fact, repair their homes that need to be refurbished, or, in fact, from their standpoint, without question, I don't think they've loaned any money in this area in the last 10 years. I would think they would consider Oak Park being a disaster area, an area that no one wants to live in, and I think one of the project area committee's objectives is to improve this improve this community. And we also have the option of using at the present time a redevelopment agency for subsidized housing in this community. But we're not getting any monies coming in from our local loan associations or banks, and specifically banks in this community are not lending any money for building.
Man, I tell you, black people got a bad break in this country, man. I mean, it's just so much shit they was doing. Like, I believe we do deserve reparations, to keep it 100, and forget about slavery. I mean, yeah, we deserve it for that too, but let's just, even during this time, the shit they were doing, just blocking us from getting loans, redlining us, and just undermining us, the education. We get the worst books and all that, just the worst everything, we get fed the slops and shit. So, I mean, Jim Crow, all the way from after slavery all the way up until the 70s, all through the 70s, just getting fucked over and shit. So, yeah, we deserve that shit, to be honest. Crazy, because this is where my family came out here from Louisiana. Oak Park is where they moved. They like my Aunt Bessie, she came out here back in, I think, the late 50s, and they settled right there on 33rd Street, so I got a lot of history out there, man. A lot of cousins, like everybody right there on 33rd. So, and my aunt, she owned a lot of property in Oak Park. She had her and her husband, she had quite a few houses out there, but,
Business has
they ended
been
up getting
so
lost,
poor here. Monday and
so,
Tuesday, we just might as well been closed. After.
Move closer to me, just a little bit closer. Oh, Mr. Banks, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You just insulted him.
Okay. Mr. Banks, what happens to Oak Park now? What are the plans? How are you going to rehabilitate this area?
We're doing a number of things. We are rehabbing houses. That is, we're giving out grants, and the size of the grants usually $3,500. And of course, how we do that, we have designated what we call designated target areas. And usually they are very small, geographically small, because we don't have that much money. We deal on more, the budget is around $1 million a year. And of course, you cannot do the whole area. So you choose a smaller area. $3,500 grants for the people that own their houses and live in the house. And that's one of the requirements. There are other programs, of course. One of them is a HOPE program, which is a program for elderly people. And in that program, people over 62 years of age and who are not too rich can get up to $1,500 for emergency repairs. You can ask me.
How do you see this neighborhood when rehabilitation is over? Are you looking for a residential community? Are you looking for more businesses? Are you looking for poor people, rich people, white people, black people? What is your ultimate goal? What do you see here in the end?
We are looking for people, and certainly we're getting that. I mean, people are beginning to move in. New people are beginning to move into the area. I talked to some of those people and asked them why. They give various different reasons. Many of those people are people who are children of people that used to live in the area. They're coming back. It's a very difficult thing. We're working on a situation now. I think one of the things we have to do is, for the people that are afraid to come within the area to put money here, we have to build around the fringes. And once we do that and they see that, you know, they aren't going to get ripped off, hopefully it'll spill over into the Oak Park area. It's a very difficult kind of thing. There are, on a redevelopment agency, there are ways of doing it. We can purchase properties and either sell those properties to business people at a reduced price, that is land price, for them to come in and put up their shops. And of course that way we're talking about raising the tax base. That's a slow way because, again, you're talking about having money allocated from the federal government to do that. Quite frankly, I see the hope for Oak Park is for private industry to come in.
All right. You were speaking earlier about the image in Oak Park, and before anything can be accomplished here, you're going to have to change the image. How can you, or how can PAC, or how can the people living here do that?
Well, I don't think that's going to be it's going to be that hard to change. I think that you have enough people, you have enough young whites. I think George's Law School is going to help us as far as that's concerned. All up and down in the immediate area here, from 14th Avenue back, you have young whites who are moving into these houses that have already been designated as uninhabitable, and they're moving in, rebuilding some of these houses, and these people are not as frightened. They're living right in the middle of what was once the drug scene, what was once the righteous atmosphere. And I think that if some investigation is done, you will find that we're having a tremendous influx of whites moving right back into those houses that they were frightened to live in before. I think that the image will be changed. The community center is going to change a lot of things. The fact that the school is put over on Stockton Boulevard, I really feel that a number of us are finding out that the image is from the outside, not from the inside. You've got a lot of blacks who were frightened before, who went out because of what I call the middle class concept. It's a little bit rough out there for their freezes and the gas bills are, you know, they're just more than they can handle, and they're finding that it is necessary to move in here.
So you're finding young blacks moving back too?
Yes, you have you have one of the young black reporters that have moved back in here. One of your black reporters have moved right back in the middle of Oak Park. So, and we still have a mix of good people in Oak Park. Some of the oldsters are here, who stayed here, are very glad that they stayed.
All right. You said that the news media plays a role. How?
Yes, I think that when you speak in terms of the image of this community, it seems that in terms of selling newspapers, our local newspapers here, when the newspapers came out, it was kind of like a race riot to some degree between whites and black students.
You don't have to be kind to television.
Okay. Television as well. I think that many times TV comes out, they take pictures of things that they want to take pictures of. They make a story, first of all, to get people to watch their newscast. The newspapers develop news stories that makes this community look like people rampantly running down this community, breaking into homes, stealing tape recorders. Everybody's on drugs. There's no working people in this community. Everyone is on public assistance, which is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But the fact in terms of how it's put.
Yeah, that's just what we were talking about, like how the media newspapers just make, it'll give you that, that it make you judge people. You know what I'm saying? Because of what you hear and what you see and what they're constantly feeding you on the news. So, you'll be thinking that it's just a bunch of wild animals running around there all day. Like everybody in the community is on that. You be thinking like everybody's that way. So
News media, it
so,
frightens
speaking
people
facts,
from coming
man.
into this community, where many young women, social workers, have felt very uncomfortable with coming out to deliver service in this community because thinking that they're going to be assaulted or attacked, which to me causes a fearful service to be provided to this community. And I think that's a part of that image that I think if the news media could be more concerned about services as opposed to selling newspapers, that might also produce a better image for this community.
What was this area like when you moved in?
Well, it was a nice area. There were an awful lot of the older people, and there were people with families with children in that.
What was the racial mix like?
Well, it wasn't near what it is now because you didn't have as many of the different races here, but it was a racial mix in the area.
Tell me, what do you think caused the decline?
She wanted to say nigger. Damn well she wanted to say that shit so bad.
You must have
Yes, I have opinions. I mean, it was just all the strife throughout the country, the same thing. And then when they couldn't get no further here, they moved on someplace else.
Tell me, what about real estate agents trying to move people out, move white people out and move black people in? Do you think that caused a problem?
Yes, because they thought they were going to make big profits on it. They would try and get you to sell your property for low, saying they had something real much nicer in a better area and all that. And I says, well, what if I don't want a better area? I says, I want this one.
And that's it, y'all. Yeah, man, Oak Park, it's been, it got a lot of history, a lot of black history in Oak Park. They had the Panthers, a lot of athletes came up out of there, rappers. That's what like a lot of, it was like three neighborhoods where black people went when they came from the South to Sacramento. It was Del Paso Heights, Oak Park, and Glen Elder, the Glen Elder Creek area over there, and also like the Flats area. A lot of black people moved over there. So like those are the areas where all the black people moved, and like coming from the South. And and that was like back in 50s, 60s, actually it started like in the 40s, but it was a lot of black people out there in the late 50s and 60s though. So, but all right, man, y'all like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.